ambassadors, welcome to episode 6 of Physical and Health Education. I'm your teacher Hannah. This is Vikidyl Models Visual Learning, and I hope you're with your writing materials. Do you remember what we did in episode 5? We talked about drug abuse, and this week we'll still be talking about drug abuse. But in episode 5, we did talk about prescribed and non-prescribed drugs. And I hope you've not forgotten that prescribed drugs are the ones recommended by a doctor for a patient after an examination, while non-prescribed drug is the one the patient just go to the pharmacy and pick some drugs for himself or herself according to his description. And I also know I told you about drug abuse last week. We talk about those harmful drugs or overusing drugs or underusing drugs. By explaining underdose and overdose and also the effect of drug abuse. But this week, we'll still be looking at drug abuse, but different topic. Basic 5 Physical and Health Education Episode 6. Our topic is drug abuse or drug education 2. Drug education 2. Drug education 2. What's the learning objective? At the end of the lesson, the pupils should be able to explain synthetic and naturally occurring drugs, mention examples of hard drugs and its effects, state how to help drug abusers. Now, what are synthetic and naturally occurring drugs? Synthetic drugs are medicine made from mixture of chemicals that are produced in pharmaceutical industries. Examples are Panadol, paracetamol, chloroquine, Fensic, etc. From the picture there, those are examples of synthetic drugs. You can see that the common drugs we make use of in our daily living. Now, what are naturally occurring drugs? These are drug substances that can be found in food and other natural substances. When we eat, every food we take in, especially fruits, contain some atom of chemicals, and these chemicals are known as drugs. For example, we have salt. So many food, natural food, come with its own salt. Caffeine in cola nuts. Someone will be wondering, teacher, are you sure we have alcohol in food? Yes. For example, food substances like cassava, we have the raw cassava. When we process it, you can have some atom of alcohol in it. We also have caffeine in cola nut. Caffeine in cola nut. We have choline in clay. We have ascorbic acid in lime. And so many other chemicals, like we also have medicine or drugs in bitter leaf, in garlic, ginger, etc. That is why so many times our parents can use those leaves like herbs. They can use it in treating us of one stomach ache or one heat or something else. Now, these are examples of naturally occurring drugs. You can see the picture of the garlic there and the ginger. And these are plants. In these plants, sometimes you hear people say they boil the leaf for malaria, to treat malaria. This is because the leaves, the dark content of drugs in those plants, or those plants contain drugs. Hard drugs. What do we mean by hard drugs? These are substances that affect someone physically or mentally when they are taken. Examples are the heroin, cocaine, sedative drugs, etc. These kind of drugs are not meant to be taken by children or people. They have their own function, not in your body, but for some other thing. It can be prescribed by yourself. You can just go over the counter to buy them. It's wrong to go over the counter to buy hard drugs because it's not good for the body. You can see the picture of the cocaine there, the cigarettes, the alcohol there, and a lot more. Now, what are effects of hard drugs? It gives respiratory infection, loss of words, feeling of nausea, convulsion, anxiety. You see someone behaving like, just too excited and too anxious, can't just control himself or herself. Poor performance in school. If you do drugs, you can't perform well in school. You want to become a medical doctor, you want to become a pharmacist, you want to become an engineer, you want to become an astronaut, or whatever, the banker, you can't do well if you do drugs. You have to let drugs out of your way. Addiction. Many a times, everyone who does drugs today started a little. And from the little, they start doing a little more. From a little more, they start doing plenty. And before you know, they're addicted to a particular drug. And this is very wrong. It can spoil, it can destroy your destiny. It can also give high blood pressure and loss of control. You see a lot of people walking like mad people on the road. Many of them are suffering from hard drugs, intake of hard drugs. Now you can see the young lady there injecting herself. Beside her, she have a lot of other hard drugs. She has alcohol there, the cocaine, and what have you there. And she is looking so tattered. She's no more in school. She's a dropout of school because she is doing drugs. Now, how do we help people who do drugs? Number one, counsel the abuser on the dangers of drugs. Number two, teachers should check and control the activities of their pupils while in school. Teachers should help the pupils to build positive behaviors. Making a child behave in the proper way is necessary. It guides the child's mind, but when a child is left to himself or herself, she can become useless. Parents should also serve as good examples to their children. How do you want your child to behave? Then you start letting the child see it through you. You can't be doing drugs and you expect your child not to do drugs. The child watches you and does try to become who you are or better than you. So if you're doing half a drug, your child is going to do a full lot of it. Parents should check the friends their children keep. Are you a parent? You're not listening to your child, you're not watching over your child, or you as a pupil listening to me today, you grow up to become a parent. What you do is make sure you know the friends your children are keeping, because it will help so that they don't join bad gang or drug doers. Government should also build rehabilitation centers where addicted children can stay and recover. So everyone have something to do. You have a friend to talk to. If your friend is doing drug, you can counsel your friend. The teacher also have work to do there to help the drug abuser. Also, the parents have work to do to help the drug abuser. The governments are not left out. They should build centers where these children can be counseled by proper health facilitators and then recover from being addicted to drugs and turning around to live a better life. Now, this will help. Parents, you can see the picture there. The parents are trying to help your child. And these are a whole lot of youths joining their hands together to say, no, we have to stop drugs. We have to help those who are already abusing drugs to come back to their normal lives and leave drugs. You have to recover from the pains, the sorrows, the drugs, alcohol, and addiction. Now, summary and evaluation. You've heard so much about drug abuse or drug education. Now I want you to answer some questions for me. Define synthetic and naturally occurring drugs. Define synthetic and naturally occurring drugs. Okay? Good. That was a good attempt. But listen to teacher now. Synthetic drugs are medicine made from mixture of chemicals that are produced in pharmaceutical industries. And examples are Panadol, paracetamol, chloroquine, Fensic, etc. While naturally occurring drugs are substances that can be found in food or other natural substances. Example, you have the salt, you have alcohol, you have caffeine in cola, we have choline in clay, we have ascorbic acid in fruits, we have bitter leaf, we have garlic, we have alligator pepper, and we even have in ginger. Number 2, mention examples of hard drugs and state their effects. Mention examples of hard drugs and state their effects. We have the heroin, we have cocaine, we have sedative, and their effects. Okay? Beautiful. It can cause respiratory infection, loss of control, loss of weight, feeling of nausea, increased blood pressure, stroke, convulsion, etc. Now mention ways of helping drug abusers at home, school, and the government. Mention ways of helping drug abusers. Beautiful. We can counsel them. We can counsel them, and teachers should check and control the activities of the pupils. Okay? Teachers should also help in building people's good behavior. Parents should also set good examples for their children to follow. They should try to know their friends, their children's friends, those the children are working with. Also, government should try to build centers where these children who are already abused or who already abuse drugs can stay to recover. Everyone has something to do to help a drug abuser. Now your assignment. Differentiate between synthetic and naturally occurring drugs. Number 2, write 3 examples of hard drugs. And number 3, write 3 ways of helping drug abusers. My beloved children, until next class, I want you to carry it in your mind that drug is not good. Hard drugs is not good. Hard drug is not good. Don't do it. Say no to drug abuse. What did teacher Hannah say? Say no to drug abuse. God bless you. Bye-bye till next class.